Dianne from Millhouse Quilts, and today we're going to talk about backings for quilts. Once you get the top done, you have to have a back on it before the quilt can be finished. The most traditional way to do a backing is to have to buy several strips of fabric and sew them together to make it wide enough to cover the quilt. And it has to be a little bit bigger, and depending on if you quilt it or it goes to the long armor and what the requirements are, sometimes you need quite a few extra inches around the edge. But you always have to have the back a little bit bigger at least than the front. Now if you go with all of these ones that we have here today are not just the normal strip piece. This one is really nice and convenient if it works out. This is a 108-inch wide backing, so for a lot of bed-size quilts, you can just get one piece of fabric. You don't have to piece anything else. It's over, done, good, and handy. The thing is that this doesn't come in as many colors, or there aren't as many samples of this out there. So you are somewhat limited by the prints available or the colors, but it's really nice when you can use it. This one over here, at the end there was decent yardage in two of the fabrics left over, and I could have pieced a couple strips, but I thought it'd be a little more interesting to make a 4-patch. So I cut my 2 strips in half and then pieced it into a big 4-patch, and that was just kind of a fun little thing to do, plus it used up a lot of the fabric. Another way, if you have a quilt that ends up in the 40, 45, 50, 55-inch wide range, that's smaller than what you really need for the 108-inch, but it's wider than the normal 43-inch fabric. So there are fabrics out there that are about 58 inches wide. We use corduroy a lot, especially in baby quilts or just in a lot of the quilts that end up in that 40-ish, 50-inch width range. There are other fabrics other than corduroy. There are the soft snuggle ones. There are some extra wide chambres, there's extra wide muslin, but a fabric 58 inches wide can be a wonderful back for some of those medium range quilts. This one is an old one from a class from way back, but this was a class as a study of 9-patch. So I thought, all right, have some fun, make a 9-patch back. So it's actually a 9-patch in a 9-patch, because as you can see here, the middle block is made up of 9 different squares, and the whole back is 9 squares, which is what a 9-patch is. So this was a way to use up the fabric and also have some fun just playing with the theme on the front. And now, speaking of fronts, if you want a little sneak peek, every block in here could be gridded into a 9-patch, and then the traditional 9-patch around here was just played with all different fabric combinations. This one is a totally scrap it. The goal of this quilt was to just use up what there was. So when the top was done, the back was pieced, and what I had a wider piece of this, a narrower of that, so I just put them together, made the top, had enough left for hang sleeve, and it was done. And the front of that, some fun scraps, all this beautiful Asian fabric. This one is called 3rd Street Neighborhood. It's a bunch of houses with colored doors. Here we have, sneak peek, Mesmerized, which is a fun quilt. And a sneak peek of this front. This is the bullseye pattern, was popular a while ago. It's the raw edge circles, very scrappy, very, very fun to do. Happy quilting from Millhouse Quilts.